It's a bittersweet night, isn't it? It's to bid farewell to this wonderful couple. Where are they? Oh, here they are. They showed up one night. To bid farewell to a couple who has won and warmed your hearts for many, many years, for 14 long years. They've been wonderful, haven't they? And they have won their way into your hearts, and we want to give them a good farewell. So would you give them a clap again, Terence? You know, let me look at you. I only had an old photograph to go on. You've aged. You've aged tragically. And then I'm still the same. It's not fair, is it? Well, now I'm just being a wicked old tease, aren't I? No, I didn't come to tease you tonight, although I do enjoy doing that. You probably wonder, what is a megastar like this doing here tonight? Well, it's a spooky story. Can I tell you a spooky story? About a month and a half ago, Possums, I was there in my garden, tending my gladiolas. And I was there in Mooney Ponds that my cell phone rang. And I recognised the ringtone. It's a distinctive ringtone I set for a wonderful friend of mine. She's a wonderful woman, a housewife like myself. She's a special woman. I carry her in my heart. And Possums, you carry her in your walnuts. Yes, it's your queen. Your queen called and said, David, now would you go to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where my grandson and his new wife just recently were for that stampede thing they have there. It's William Cape there. Would you mind going and bestowing on my behalf a title upon this well-deserving couple? And I said, Your Majesty, anything for you. And so here I am. And I'm so thrilled to be here, Debbie. Deborah, is it Deborah? Do you go by Deborah? Debbie, that's nice. Like the little paste and cake gal, right, little Debbie? That's lovely. Deborah, let me look at you. What are you wearing? Oh, poor darling, they sprung this on you at the last moment. My show, and I know that you have. It's broadcast all over the world. When you watch my show, I do research on all my guests. I dig into their lives. I dig, and I find little secrets. I do. That you, the viewing audience, are so happy to hear. And I did some digging. And Deborah, I knew there was a time in your life, quite so many years ago, when fashion was important to you. Account, Deborah, and I know that, oh, Debbie, and you go by Debbie, I know that you got into a bit of a fight with your sister Donna over a pair of shoes. Do you remember that? Oh, yes, she says she does. I heard it from an eyewitness account, friends. They were, what kind of shoes? They were a white pattern shoe, a platform. The 70s were cruel, weren't they? There was a platform shoe that, and her sister came to Deborah and said, Debbie, could I borrow those shoes? And being a good sister, you said yes, which was wonderful. But then you found out that those white pattern elevator shoes, and platform shoes, you said, those white platform shoes would be toddling off on Donna's feet to a Donny Osmond concert. Can you believe that, Possum? She was, it's a true story. She was going to a Donny Osmond concert. And you knew you'd be at home that night, all by yourself, in your chenille bathrobe and slippers. And you imagined those shoes on Donna's feet and Donny singing to her Pretty Blue Eyes or Puppy Love or something like that. And your jealousy bone started to tingle, didn't it? And you changed your mind and you said, no, Donna, you can't use my shoes. Well, it got ugly. I heard, friends, and this is from an eyewitness who was there, she witnessed this. The shoes were thrown across the room in anger. There were words that were said that should not be repeated here. It's a family show. Got very ugly, but girls will be girls, won't we, Debbie? Yes, we will. And sometimes we do change our minds just to keep our men guessing, don't we, Terence? our show, Desperate Housewives. We're not all desperate. There's Terry Garr, that's another actress. There's a famous frock shop. You call them dresses here, not frocks, right? There's a famous dress shop in New York called Terry John of New York. This is a Terry John. Do you like my frock? Possums, you're too kind. But Terry, it's an unusual name, isn't it? Oh, that's fine. But we're here to celebrate you, right? 14 years. 14 years as senior pastor of this church is a wonderful accomplishment, isn't it, Possums? Don't get too excited. You know, it's not as impressive as his predecessor. His predecessor was Wendell Grout. Wendell, now that's a name. Wendell Grout, he was here 20 years now, that's impressive. And I believe you knew his predecessor. He probably swatted your bottom more than once. Yes, it was your father, Lowell Young. Now that's a name too, Lowell. Very wonderful. Handsome man, full head of white hair. Looks like you got some of that. At least the white part. But Possums, 14 years is a long time, isn't it? You know what I should know? Because that's how long it took my late husband to pass on. He dragged on and on and on. But I'm sure that's not how your people feel, Terry, about you and about your time here, dragging on and anything like that. But I'm sorry, Possums. That's my phone. I'm sorry. Oh! It's the Queen! It's Her Majesty! I must take this, Possums, just a moment. Hello, Your Majesty! Yes, ma'am, I'm curtsying right now. Wonderful to hear from you. Yes, I'm here with Terry and Debbie right now. Yes, ma'am, he goes by Terry, I know it's odd. What, a few minutes right now, ma'am? I could take a few minutes, why do you ask? Trouble with Camilla. Dreadful woman. Your Majesty, could you hold just for a moment? Hold, yes ma'am, just a moment. Yes, I'll be sure to give them a great big hug and kiss for you. Maybe a handshake, yes ma'am, that's fine. Just hold a moment. I'm sorry, Possums. It is the Queen, and I'm here at her behest, so I do have to take this call. The royals do call from time to time. They're a dysfunctional family, and they call for my advice, and I give it, so I do need to take this. So, Possums, I'll be back shortly. I'm sure there's some other people who will say some less interesting things, but please pay attention. I'll be right back.